Hey everyone, it's Alex, and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to talk about Doom. I own both the Ultimate Doom and the 2016 reboot on PC and Switch. Even though my PC can't run the reboot for some reason, I had a lot of fun with it on Switch. In fact, I actually beat the game several times. I thought it was that good. Anyway, Doom 1 may very well be the most influential video game for PC gaming. Without it, and arguably Commander Keen, PC gaming wouldn't be as big as it is today. With such influence comes companies that want to capitalize. You have Bethesda that saw the potential in Doom 4, which later became Doom 2016, a wonderful first-person shooter, or the awesome Unity ports of classic Doom games on modern platforms made by Nerve and Panic Button. So far, it looks like id has kept Doom-related stuff pretty good. But what about before the modern era? How were Doom projects before then? Well, Doom 2 was decent, and Doom 3 was and there were some cool Doom ports, like the PlayStation port, the Atari Jaguar port, and the Ultimate Doom, an upgraded version that the Unity ports is based on. However, there were some stinkers, like the port I bought. This piece of crap is like hell to play. Pun intended. I played the first 5 stages in Episode 1 of Doom on both the GBA via the Game Boy Player and the Unity port on my Switch. I wanted a decent comparison between the two. Why only the first 5 levels? Because I couldn't physically beat E1M6 on GBA. I just couldn't. The controls are just that garbage. I could easily beat that stage in the Switch version. Now let's get into the differences. Aside from the lower resolution, the game carries all the sprites over from the DOS game rather than the new Ultimate Doom ports. But that lower resolution means it's harder to see far-off enemies. Also, you may have already noticed, but the blood is green. Nintendo forced this change because of their family-friendly disposition at the time. It's kind of a weird change, but I really don't care that much. I don't like how the bodies just vanish after they're killed, though. Now, time for the most disgusting change, and why I think it's a bad port. The controls. For Doom, you need many buttons for actions. On PC, the port they're basing this off of, you move with WASD, look around with the arrow keys or the mouse, change weapons with the number keys or with the scroll wheel, sprinted with shift, access the map with tab, shot with mouse 1 or control, and interacted with mouse 2. That evens out to be a minimum of 14 buttons. 14. Guess how many buttons the GBA has? 8. 8. Less than the SNES, which apparently had a pretty decent port. So here's how they remedied this. They used up and down on the D-pad to move. Then you turn left and right with the same D-pad. For a control stick, this is actually kind of nice, because when you want to move or turn, you just press in the diagonal. But this also means no strafing. On a side note, you do often turn when you want to move sometimes with a control stick. It's not 100% a positive for some reason. For strafing, they used L and R. Odd choice since you can get the same effect by making the D-pad strafe and L and R turn, but whatever, it isn't too horrible. Yeah, it is. And anyway, you shoot with A and sprint with B. The map is on select. So what about weapon switching? And interacting? Well, to interact, you press B. How the hell, would you know that? And the most obscure is weapon switch. This is done by pressing both strafe keys and up and down on the D-pad. Are you freaking kidding me? I had to look it up. The game sure as heck doesn't have it anywhere. My one question in all of this is why it wasn't on the GameCube. The GameCube is out for a month by the time this port was a thing. The twin stick nature would be perfect for the GameCube. I can see it now. Move with the left stick, aim with the right. Fire with R, sprint with L. Weapon switch on the D-pad up and down, access the map with Z, and interact with A. I actually tried to use it on my Switch to see how it felt, but it wouldn't let me, so I also tried it on my PC, but that didn't work either, so just trust me when I say that this isn't a bad control scheme. It isn't ideal, but it works well enough. However, if they really wanted a portable Doom, they should have just waited one console generation later. The DS Doom could have had a control style similar to Metroid Prime Hunters had. You could have moved with the D-pad and aim with the touchscreen, with weapon switch also being on the bottom screen. You could fire with L, interact with the face buttons, pause with start, and access the map with select. It wouldn't be ideal, no, but honestly it would work better than Prime Hunters due to not needing to use the face button very often. As for actual game changes, there isn't much. Aside from the game's speed being lowered for pretty obvious reasons, the hit detection for stuff is a total gamble. I can't even describe how it functions. Most of the time hit scan weapons are fine for the most part, but the rocket launchers and other projectiles such as imp fireballs just phase through things sometimes. I'll try my best to show this in post, and maybe I'm wrong, but I swear it happens. I must address one thing before I end this video though. the game controls are a little bit better on a real GBA. Like I mentioned before, playing with the D-pad is a lot more precise than with a control stick that is mimicking a D-pad. You don't turn by accident. You have very precise control of Doom Guy's turning, rather than just kind of precise control. Yes, I could have used the GameCube controller's D-pad, but I'd rather not. Is this the worst version of Doom 1? No, not at all. Is it good? For the GBA, I'd say yes. In general, no. I'd much rather play the Unity port on Switch or PC. Or I would. In a way, I prefer this version over the Unity port. There's something truly satisfying about overcoming a version of Doom that restricts my movement so much. It's like the feeling people get from accomplishing something like beating a hard game like Dark Souls, or perfecting a speedrun of something like Mario 64. I didn't think I'd end this video with a positive spin. I doubt you did either. Of course, I can't really recommend this game to people unless you're like me and get satisfaction from beating clunky games. In that case, I'd recommend the Unity port on any of the modern consoles or Steam. But if you are like me, I'd still recommend the Unity ports, but maybe give this version a shot too. Yeah, it's bad, but that might actually sell it to you. This one's a bit shorter than usual, and you know what? That's nice, because that's all I got. So I guess I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.